Hello and welcome to Post, the channel where we discuss all things hockey and all teams. Joined here with AP. We're going to go through the entire free agency, basically signings. There are players that I have on this list that I left off because I don't really have a lot to say about them. But the majority of the signings, probably about 98%, are on this list. We're going to go through them quickly, talk about them. This is Andrew Pillock. He has his own channel. You should go check it out. I'll link it down below. And you spent a long time driving here during free agency day, following on your phone, on your laptop. It was a good day for you as a Leafs fan.
Fantastic.
So we're going to talk a little bit about Tavares. I think he's on this list, or I might have even skipped him just because he was getting his own video. Anyway, you'll have lots to say about the majority of these as well, because even though you're a Leafs fan, you cover the entire NHL. So we're going to start off, I think, in basically chronological order as these people were signed. Logan Couture from San Jose, 8 years, $8 million per year. To me, Logan Couture is a guy who does a lot of amazing things that people don't notice. He can be a very clutch player. That's a long term, 8 years. It's the highest. It's the longest you can sign someone for in the NHL. At $8 million, I'm probably okay with that because the cap is going to go up and up and up. And 5 years from now, when the cap is $100 million or something like that,
do you imagine?
$8 million per year is going to be. It's going to look like a very good contract, I think, for his production, and hopefully he continues to produce at his same level. So I'm okay with this. Short term, it looks a little bad, but I think if he produces at the same level long term, it'll look good, in my opinion.
Yeah, I like him. They had to hold on to him.
They had to, yeah. He's been there forever. So next up, New Jersey Devils, Eddie Lack, 1 year, $650K. This reminds me a little bit of the Niemi experiment in Pittsburgh last year. They signed him for $700,000. Eddie Lack is obviously not as experienced as Niemi and doesn't have the same success, but he's struggled in a few teams. I think relationship-wise with him and the coach. 1 year is not a gamble with New Jersey. They have that. I don't think he's going to be. Is he the second string or third string? I can't remember.
I think
Kincaid's still
Kincaid, there. Yeah. So he'll be like a third string goaltender.
He's the third string goaltender if Schneider gets injured or whatever. So for a third string goalie, sure, not bad for $650K. I'm definitely okay with that signing. Arizona, they signed Jarmelson or Charmelson or whatever other Armelson you want to pronounce it as. 2 years, $5 million. To me, that was a little pricey for him. I know people who disagree with me, and that's okay. I don't know how you feel. But
I think it's with the cap going up. I think Arizona's they're not too worried.
$5 million for 2 years. If it was more than 2 years, if it was like 4 or something like that, I'd have a problem with it. But even though 5 years I think is a little pricey, I'm okay with the term 2 years. Next up, Golden Knights got Ryan Reeves at 2 years at $2.775. I'm not happy with this. Not so much the term, but the price. I do not see him being close to $3 million per year. He's too much of a liability. His offensive play, he's slow. He's like personality as a person. I love Ryan Reeves.
Yeah,
he's a very nice person. But I would not have paid that much. I would have given him $1 million.
Yeah, that's way too much money.
Detroit signed Mike Green, 2 years, $5.37. As an older guy, Mike Green actually had a pretty good season.
Yep, puts up a lot of points.
Yeah, he's pretty underrated. He had a couple of years where he struggled a little bit, but I'm okay with that. The Islanders held on to Hickey, 4 years, 2.5. I'm totally okay with that
Great
price.
Deal.
Yeah, and that term, well done. Minnesota got Matt Hendricks, 1 year, $750K. When you get a player for under $1 million,
yeah,
it's going to be a roster player. Sure, why not?
Could be a bargain signing.
Pittsburgh, Jack Johnson, 5 years, $3.25. Everybody knows that you have to pay a defenseman a little bit more than a forward. The fact that they got Jack Johnson for $3.25, I think, says a lot from him. He wants to play in Pittsburgh. I think this is a good signing financially. The term, I'm a little worried about the term.
Too long.
I'm okay with the price.
I think it's way too long, honestly.
Yeah, he's the guy who struggled financially.
Right. So I'm happy for him in that regard that he's going to be paid.
Yeah.
But the term is just too long, and maybe Pittsburgh was like, "Hey, listen, this is the 5-year deal. You're going to get paid. Come win and contend."
He's also good friends with Crosby, I think. So I think that had something to do with it.
Yep, and he's good.
He's a very good player.
Yeah.
Paul Stastny in Vegas, 3 years, 6.5. it's funny because I watched Vegas play against Winnipeg when I was down there against Paul Stastny. It's weird to say that he is now a Golden Knight because he was the enemy when I was down there. So
Bit of a rivalry already.
A bit of a rivalry already, yeah.
Really?
So you know what? 3 years isn't too bad. I think
he's good.
He's a good player. He's a little streaky.
Yep.
So I'm hoping that doesn't come back to bite them financially. I'm okay with the signing. I think it's okay.
Me too. Term's not too long. Money's not too bad.
Yeah. Vancouver, Roussel, 4 years, $3 million. I hate this.
It's too much money.
Way too much money for Antoine Roussel. And 4 years. If you're going to sign him for 4 years, you can't do $3 million. I really am not happy with that signing. Buffalo, Scott Wedgwood at $650K. Heck yeah.
That's a good deal.
Absolutely.
Wedgwood's pretty serviceable.
Yep, definitely. Detroit, Vanek, he's going back to Detroit. 1 year, $3 million. Term length, 1 year. It's a gamble contract. It's $3 million.
There's some sort of clause on it too, apparently.
Oh, really?
Yeah, even though it's 1 year, I heard that there's some sort of clause on the deal. I could be wrong, but I heard that there was something else with that deal that came along with it because he doesn't like getting traded all the time.
Interesting.
So he could have a choice of his team if they do decide to deal him.
Very interesting. For $3 million, I think Vanek probably produces around that mark if he is consistent.
He's going to help with the younger talent there.
That's a good point. Very good point. Minnesota, Greg Pateryn, 3 years, 2.25. I personally don't like this. I watched Greg Pateryn play in Montreal and in Dallas a little bit. I don't personally believe he's worth 2.25. I would have given 1.5. But I'm getting real picky there. Yeah, I understand you have to pay defensemen more, like I said earlier. Montreal, Xavier Ouellet, however you pronounce his name, $700K. I don't know anything about him, really. I know that he played a couple games with Detroit this year. Maybe more than a couple, maybe like 50 or so, but
more than a couple, maybe 50. No.
I had to talk about the Montreal ones because I'm a Canadiens fan. Thomas Plekanec back in Montreal, 1 year at 2.25, I think. I do not like Plekanec. He cannot hit the net. It drives me crazy. If you watch him play this year, he'll miss the net 98% of the time.
Yes,
it's so frustrating.
He was good in the playoffs though for the Leafs. So, hey, good for him.
He plays a great shutdown role, and he's a good centerman. But he still frustrates me. St. Louis, Chad Johnson, 1 year, 1.75. A goalie with a lot of experience. A goalie that had to come in relief in Calgary a couple of years ago and got them into the playoffs. When I can't remember who their main goalie was that got injured, but who was it?
When was this?
Not last year, the year before.
What was it, Elliott?
Oh yeah, it was Elliott.
Yeah, Elliott.
Yeah, he
did not do good.
Yeah, he did not do good.
Elliott was not good.
He's got a lot of experience. So you know what, St. Louis, you had to get rid of Carter Hutton. I think Chad Johnson is an okay backup for 1.75.
It's a good deal.
Carolina, Peter Mrazek, 1 year, 1.5. He had Cam Ward left.
Yep.
So Mrazek's probably going to be Mrazek and Darling are going to share. I hope Mrazek has had mixed success. Darling has had mixed success. I'm a little worried about Carolina in that. St. Louis, Tyler Bozak, 3 years, $5 million. I believe that St. Louis grossly overpaid for Bozak. I really like Bozak as a player, especially as a person. I like the term, but $5 million to me personally is too much.
You know what?
As a Maple Leafs fan,
it's an overpayment, but 3 years is not too bad. I'd also like to add that as a Leafs fan, this sucks. Yeah. I really like Tyler Bozak. I would have thought realistically, $4 million a year would have been okay. Even then, that's a little bit too much. Mm-hmm. But for what Bozak does on the ice, he's unbelievable leader. From what everybody has been saying, all the younger guys are probably a little upset that he's gone. Mm-hmm. I'm a huge fan of him, and I hope he does absolutely amazing in St. Louis, and I hope that deal is good for the Blues because, again, he's an amazing guy.
Hopefully it works out. We were talking earlier about this, and he's a player that when he plays with high-caliber players, he elevates his game. So
yeah, I mean, he played with Phil Kessel and James Van Riemsdyk, guys who can fill the net. So, hey, put him with some goal scorers, and he'll do wonders.
Colorado signs Ian Cole for 3 years, $4.25 million. That's too much for Ian Cole, and I know he has a lot of experience. I know he can probably mentor the guys, but to me, that's a lot of money for Ian Cole. St. Louis, David Perron, 4 years, $4 million.
I like it.
It's actually pretty good. I'm surprised it's that low of Cost, sorry.
Could have been a hometown, well, not hometown discount, buddy. I mean, going back to the team that he played with. I mean, technically, you could call it a hometown discount.
Exactly, yeah. Buffalo signs Carter Hutton, 3 years, 2.75. If Carter Hutton plays for Buffalo like he played for St. Louis last year, and if Buffalo plays as good as they are on paper,
this team's going to be dangerous.
Seriously,
they could.
They could. Honestly, I love the signing by Buffalo.
Great signing.
Boston, John Moore, 5 years, 2.75.
I actually don't mind it.
Yeah, I'm worried about the term a little bit. 5 years is a long time.
Yeah, the term's the only thing that surprises me a little bit with Boston.
Yeah, cost for a defenseman, I'm okay with the cost.
Yeah, because he was one of the bigger names for the defensemen.
Oh yeah, Dallas, Anton Khudobin, 2 years, 2.5.
Fantastic.
Totally okay with this. Yeah, great signing by Dallas. Vancouver, Jay Beagle, 4 years at $3 million. Jay Beagle has a lot of experience. He's played with Ovechkin and that base all the greats on the Washington for forever.
All the greats. Stanley Cup champions.
4 years is a long time, I think, for Jay Beagle. At $3 million, I think they overpaid a little bit.
If this was a 2-year deal, I'd be like, you know what, sweet,
totally.
You know what, show these kids what to do and then get out. Basically, honestly, that's it though. That's what it should have been.
Calgary, Derek Ryan, 3 years, 3.125. I don't understand the hype behind Derek Ryan.
Yeah, me either.
There was so much talk about him. I'm like, I don't get it. It's not like he's been in the league forever and he's done amazing things. His stats aren't that good and he hasn't been that amazing. But
friend Connell was actually saying that he wasn't very happy with this signing, and he's a huge Flames guy. So
yeah. So anyways, 3 years. We'll see. Philadelphia, James Van Riemsdyk, 5 years at $7 million. How do you feel about this?
You know what? JVR did absolutely amazing things for the Toronto Maple Leafs. And again, it's another thing where it's like, I'm going to miss the guy. Not as much as Bozak, but that's no diss to him. Bozak's just been with the Leafs much longer. But I think he's going to be great going back to Philly. I think that that's a fair deal for how much some of the stars in the league are wanting to be paid. And I think Van Riemsdyk is kind of one-dimensional a lot of the time.
I agree.
When he's scoring out front of the net most of the time. If you look at some of his numbers, he's literally just standing out front and scoring, but he's unreal at that. Like, his hands are unbelievable.
I think he's really going to fit in well with the structure and lineup they have in Philadelphia.
He's going to explode there too. He'll be great.
I'm worried about the term a little bit, but as the cost is, I think, good.
I think it's good.
Chicago, Cam Ward, 1 year, $3 million. If you look what happened in Chicago last year, all the goaltending injuries and stuff, this is, I think, a signing that they had to make. Get an experienced guy in there with Cam Ward. And Cam Ward played pretty good last year when he had to come in relief of Darling. So.
Yeah, and I mean, Crawford, we don't know, unfortunately, with like health issues and stuff like that. So hopefully, I hope Crawford stays healthy.
Me too.
But now you've got a guy with, Stanley Cup experience.
Detroit, Jonathan Bernier, 3 years, $3 million. I actually really like this signing. Bernier, he played interestingly in Toronto. I wouldn't say he played bad.
He wasn't bad.
I wouldn't say that he played good.
No.
But when he left Toronto and spent some time on other teams, he actually played really well.
Yeah.
He was did he go to Anaheim?
Yep.
I think he played really well there for a little bit.
Yep.
And then in Colorado last year, when he had to come in relief, and he played, his numbers are really good.
Oh, yeah.
He played amazing.
For sure.
So I really hope this works out for Detroit. 3 years, $3 million.
Yeah, no offense to Detroit, but right now you don't have a lot of pressure to win. So Bernier could feel like, okay, let me settle in, let me get good for this team and see where it goes.
Exactly, that's a great point. Boston, Yaroslav Halak. This one hurts a little bit because of 2010 with Montreal. 2 years, $2.75 million.
It's too much.
It is a little much. His career has declined, unfortunately, a little bit. But you never know.
It could work out.
We've seen older goaltenders who have struggled come back later in the career, like Tim Thomas.
Yep.
So you never know. I really like Halak. So I do, and obviously I don't like Boston, but I wish him luck there.
Defensively, Boston's got a great team.
Oh, yeah.
So this could really work out, to be honest with you. I mean, Tuukka Rask is obviously their guy, but Halak is a guy that could come in, and as long as he just stays calm and plays a decent game, Boston's got a real good defensive team. So
yeah, I agree.
Should be good.
Dallas, Blake Comeau, 3 years, $2.4 million. I think he's a player that a lot of people don't talk about. He had a tough 2 years in Colorado, and he's a bit streaky. I think he came out of his shell a little bit last year after that terrible year that they had.
Right.
He played better. So I'm okay with this signing. I'm not sure how he's going to fit in Dallas. I'm going to be watching closely, of course, because I like Dallas. But this is just kind of a meh deal for me. Montreal, Matthew Pekka, 2 years, 1.3. I don't really know much about him. I just wanted to mention it because
Pekka.
Because Pekka and Canadians.
Yeah,
so, who knows?
Yeah, why not?
Chicago, Chris Kunitz, 1 year, $1 million.
Good.
Sure, why not? Experience, $1 million. That's nothing.
He could put up some points there, honestly.
Yep, definitely. Minnesota, Brown for 2 years and $688K. I have JJ.
I think it's JT Brown.
JT. I don't know. I made that a J, but
you were testing me.
If you look at his numbers, when I watched Tampa, I was like, okay, well, yeah, JT Brown's a pretty good player, but then I looked at his numbers. They're not good.
Oh.
No, they're not good.
Because, I was going to sit here and say, hey, listen, that's not a bad signing. But I guess it's kind of...
It's still not a bad signing.
Because since it is 2 years, like, if he does good and he starts to settle in,
yep,
it's way under $1 million.
$688K. So.
On this cap, that's a huge bargain if he does good.
Even though his numbers aren't great, I do like this signing by Minnesota. Edmonton, Tobias Reeder, 1 year, $2 million.
I like it.
Sure, yeah.
It's good. It hopefully could be a good fit in it. I mean, this 1 year deal type of thing with Edmonton kind of scares me a little bit because it kind of screams that they could deal this guy if they feel like they have to at the deadline if they're not good.
Dallas, Valery Nichushkin.
Nichushkin, I think.
Nichushkin?
I don't know.
He was in the NHL and then he went back to Russia, and now he's back with Dallas. I think he was playing with CSKA Moscow.
Okay.
Over there. Anyways, he's back 2 years, $2.95 million. Sure, we'll see.
It's not bad.
Arizona, Michael Grabner, 3 years, 3.35. I love this signing.
Oh man, I love it.
I love it.
Arizona's stocking up, man.
Yeah.
They really are. This could be a surprising team.
And
they really could.
I said that last year before the season, and then they had a tough start. But at the last half of the season, Arizona played so well. So if they can continue that success, and they've made some good moves in the offseason, with the addition of Michael Grabner, I like this a lot.
That speed with that young core.
Yep. Chicago, Brandon Manning, 2 years, 2.25. Meh.
Yeah, it's just a kind of decent signing.
Not good, not bad, just meh. Edmonton, Kyle Brodziak, 2 years, 1.15. Not bad.
Depth.
Vegas Golden Knights, Nick Holden, 2 years, 2.2. Nick Holden has a lot of experience. I'm okay with that. Definitely okay with that. Yep. Pittsburgh, Matt Cullen's going back. I don't know how he's still playing hockey, but he is.
They call him the dad over there.
Yeah, 1 year, $650K. So just pay him that just to mentor the guys.
Yeah,
sure.
It's a great fit. Depth.
Florida, Michael Hutchinson, 1 year, 1.3.
And he's the third string guy.
He is the third string guy.
Because it's Luongo, Reimer, and then Hutchinson.
Yeah. I would say good third string guy, but he's struggled, of course, recently in his career. Vancouver, Tim Schaller?
Tim Schaller, I think.
2 years, 1.9. Sure.
Yeah.
Daniel Carr, Vancouver. Sorry, not Vegas. Daniel Carr, 1 year, $750K. Not a lot of people know about this guy. As a Canadians fan watching this kid, it might be one of the best signings. I can tell you this guy is going to explode. He was completely misused in Montreal. Vegas fans, keep your eye on Daniel Carr. I promise he will do incredible things for the team.
Great depth.
Winnipeg, Laurent Brossoit, I think that's how you say his name.
Goaltender?
Goaltender,
yep.
Winnipeg, 1 year, $650K. Sure. Yep. He didn't play great in Edmonton, but...
It's just to replace Hutchison, basically.
Yep. Minnesota, Eric Fair, 1 year, $1 million.
Love it.
It's $1 million.
He's underrated, Eric Fair, he really is.
I agree, yeah.
He definitely was
ton of experience. Minnesota, Andrew Hammond, again on the move. 1 year, $650K, but for $650K, sure.
Yep.
Columbus, Adam Clendening, 1 year, $700K. Sure, he's got lots of experience. I'm okay with that. Pittsburgh, Jimmy Hayes, 1 year, $650K. I think that's a good signing for $650K. He's been around, so sure. New York Islanders, Leo Komarov, 4 years, $3 million. I'll pass this off to you.
Uncle Leo. Yeah. He was. You know what? He was good for the Leafs for quite a long time. Actually, he hasn't been with the Leafs for ages, but he was pretty good near the beginning. He's an all-star technically.
Technically.
Yeah, he had a 20-goal season. So you know what, Leo? Thanks for everything you did in Toronto. And I know you're watching this because you're a big post-to-post fan, But Leo definitely, he did a lot of good things. He's a funny guy. Apparently, he was a team prankster as well.
He's a funny guy.
So he's gonna fit in with the Islanders because they want some good depth there. And I think that he could probably do some decent things there. But the money, it's just too much.
I'm okay with the money. The term is what bothers me.
Oh man,
I'd like to see 2 years or not 4.
I just don't think he's even a $3 million player right now.
I
don't know. He could be.
That's
it's not terrible.
He has the skill to be a $3 million.
Oh yeah, he does. But let's see what kind of role that Lou envisions for him and the Islanders management as a whole. So,
Vancouver, Sven Berche, whatever. 3 years, 3.367. Sure.
I like it.
It's. I mean, you kind of had to sign him. He's been there, and I think the fans really like him quite a bit. So
it's not a ton of money really with this cap.
No, it's not bad. Columbus, Riley Nash, 3 years, 2.75.
Tad overpayment maybe.
I
think that he's good.
He's good. He's a little inconsistent.
And it's with Columbus.
For 3 years.
Could fit in.
It could fit in, definitely. They had to replace. They needed another Nash back on Columbus. So. Colorado signed Matt Calvert, 3 years, $2.8 million. Matt Calvert was the oldest player on Columbus, by the way, last year.
Oh, okay.
That blew my mind.
That's crazy.
He was that old.
Yeah.
I actually really like this. He's going to be able to mentor those young guys quite a bit. This is going to be a great signing. And Matt Calvert, I don't know if you guys have seen any Matt Calvert off the ice. Have you?
Not really.
He's funny. He's really funny. Columbus Blue Jackets YouTube channel, they do driving with the players. So Foligno will go on a drive with players and they'll have a conversation in the car.
Oh, okay.
And he went on one with Matt Calvert. And it was very good. They're very funny. So.
Sweet. Have to check it out.
Anaheim, Luke Schenn, 1 year, $800K.
Leafs legend.
Sure. For less than $1 million? Meh. Dallas, Roman Polak, 1 year, $1.3 million.
Leafs legend.
I hate the signing. I do not like
man.
Roman Polak.
It's only 1 year, and you know what? Polak, I think that he wasn't that great with Toronto. I in one video, I was very mad, and I described him as if you were playing a video game and your controller died and the guy was just gliding.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's Roman Polak. But to be fair, realistically, I think that it was a little bit too much. If you gave him $800K, that would have been a decent signing. But for mentoring...
For that, yes. For that aspect, definitely.
And he hits hard. I would not want to be hit by Roman Polak.
I agree.
My God.
He has a bit of a temper. He puts his team at a disadvantage sometimes. So that's what I'm worried about.
Playoffs, Polak actually stepped it up. I'm not going to lie. He really did.
He did. Calgary, James Neal, 5 years, 5.75. A lot less money than I thought.
Fantastic in my eyes.
Term was around the same, what I was expecting for James Neal. Surprised he went to Calgary.
Yeah, I didn't see that coming at all. I actually thought Vegas was going to be one team that he could go back to, and then maybe, I don't know, another team, not Calgary, that's for sure.
It looks strange in a Calgary uniform, I think.
Yeah.
San Jose, Joe Thornton, 1 year, $5 million. Man, he's old.
Yeah, he really is.
Still in great shape. Health is obviously a concern. $5 million is, I think, quite a bit. Even with the legendary Joe Thornton, it's still a little bit for me. And he made $8 million last year, and I was like, what?
Yeah, I know. That's a lot of money. And to be honest with you, out of all the players that I thought the Leafs had a chance to go after, I actually thought maybe Thornton was going to be an option.
I thought he was going to come back. I thought he was going to join Marleau in Toronto for this upcoming year.
Well, Tavares.
And the last one I have on the list is Tomas Hertl. 4 years, 5.7. I love the signing. I love Tomas Hertl. For 5.7 for his production, if he's on his game, this is a brilliant signing. Totally fine with the term, the term in years as well. So yeah, I think we've pretty much gone through everything. Any final thoughts or?
I think that there was a lot of really good contracts given out, but I think there was also a fair share of really bad ones.
I agree.
And I don't know if you have a favorite deal on the day, but I think that I got to go with probably Grabner's contract or maybe even James Neal. I like both those deals for their fit. I know there could have been better deals, and of course I'm a Leafs fan, so I'm supposed to say Tavares. put that aside because we all know that's what I love the most. You know, any Leaf fan's gonna say that. But to be fair, I think that Neil in Calgary and having Arizona grab Grabner, I think that's pretty good.
I was impressed with the small goaltender acquisition. So Hutton in Buffalo, I really like that. It's a risky because we saw Darling have an amazing season back as a backup in Chicago, go to Carolina and struggle. Will the same thing happen to Carter Hutton? We'll find out. It's a little risky. And then the Khudobin trade to Dallas, or not trade, the signing in Dallas. I think I liked both of those goaltender signings. So those were probably my favorite deals of the day, just because I like goaltenders. Yeah. Patrick All's my favorite player. I like the personality of goaltenders. I like the designs on the mask and stuff. So I usually pay attention to where goalies go and follow their careers a little bit more than players. But anyways, thanks for joining me for this video. I had a ton of fun going through these with you. Make sure you go check out his channel. I'll link it below. Subscribe here if you're new. Like this video down below if you did like it. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Adios.